Join. Okay, got it. I'm done. You handle what you need. Nothing but just put me up there. That's all. Am I open? That's what. What is that? He said it was no display. What that mean? Oh, somebody got to handle it. Yeah. You know, I'm good. I'm good. You good? I'm good. I'm good. I'm still talking from there. Okay. Thank you. I had 6 people. Oh, here's Mr. This is one. Okay. Make sure y'all turn it down so that it won't have a back. Well, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Council O'Donnell.
Good morning. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I wasn't certain whether you knew that your mic was on, but you're good.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
you're good. No, you were not bothering anyone. I just wanted you to know that it was on.
Okay, I thought she had muted my mic, but thank you so much, Councilor Crusoe.
Oh boy.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Ms. Taylor. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. It's 9:01 a.m., Councilor Donna, and you do have a quorum right now if you want to start your meeting.
Thank you so much. Good morning and welcome to the Bessemer City Council Planning Session Special Call Meeting. 1700 3rd Avenue North here in the great city of Bessemer. Today is Tuesday, September the 14th, 2021. Councilors, the meeting has been called to order. We'll have a silent word of prayer. And as we pray, councilors, as we have a silent word of prayer, councilors, let us pray again for our nation. Let's pray for this city, our sister cities, this state along with Jefferson County. God hears and he does answer the prayers of the righteous. A silent word of prayer, please. Amen. Roll call, please, Ms. Taylor.
Councilor Alexander,
Present.
Councilor Collier,
Present.
Councilor Crusoe,
Present.
Councilor Marshall,
Present.
Councilor Thickpen,
Present.
Councilor Matthews, Councilor Matthews, Councilor Donald.
Present.
You have 6 present, 1 absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Item number 4, please.
Employees health insurance plan.
Mr. Petway, are you set up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good morning. How are you? This is Mr. Bruce Petway.
Good morning, Madam President. I'd like to say good morning to the entire council and the mayor as well.
Good morning.
Can you guys see me? I just need to be adjusted. Look like my head is cut off.
Yes, your head is off. Just adjust just a tad bit.
Okay, there we go. I got you.
Now we can see you.
Okay. Can you hear me well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'd like to say good morning. I appreciate the opportunity to come before you this morning. It's that time of year. It's renewal time on the benefits for the city employees. And just want to bring a recommendation to you this morning. Just based on this past year, it's not a really good claims year. The claims exceeded 100% of the premium that was paid. And alarming is the prescription drugs part of the claims. The claims prescription actually was running at a 40% ratio, which is extremely high to have 40% of your claims prescriptions. And keep in mind, we have not had a full year under this particular plan, but it's not claims wise, not performing well. And with that in mind, what has happened in the renewal, we were given a 37% rate increase for the same benefits. And what I did, I went to the market and I was able to bring a plan back with matching the current plan that we currently have in place with Blue Cross Blue Shield that's significantly lower. We're talking about $1 million difference in premium for the entire year, which be a significant lower cost to the employees. Based on that, this is effective for October 1st effective date. And just being the first year with the plan being with the current carrier, typically they take a little longer getting the renewal to you, which happened here because as of today, we still have not been with this carrier 1 full year. And I did not get the renewal as early as I would like, but they were trying to see and get as much claims experience as possible to make an assessment moving forward. And with that, we got a 37% rate increase. So I have a recommendation that we change based on that rate increase, which we're not losing any benefits, and we change back to the Blue Cross and have the same identical benefits at a substantial lower cost. They had one option on the plan. It was a Plan B option that initially I thought would be a good idea. It was going to be a difference in the benefits of a $5,000 from a $5,000 deductible to a $10,000 deductible. However, they were very slow, and as of today, haven't gotten much of the requested information that I submitted to them, which became very alarming to me. And just a week and a half ago or so, we had a call meeting with all the brokers and consultants, and that's when it became made aware that they were having some issues with obtaining reinsurance carriers, which you would have to have reinsurance carriers for the plan. And at that point in time, when I saw they were having some difficulties with the reinsurance carrier, I didn't think it would be wise for the city to risk moving forward with the carrier, and at the end of this month, move to go to the Blue Cross option.
Are you finished, Mr. Petway?
Yes, ma'am. I'm open to any questions if you may have any.
Madam Chair.
Counselors? Yes, sir.
Madam Chair.
Counselor Marsh. Yes, sir. Counselor Marsh.
The question that I want to raise to Mr. Petway is the fact that Viva finally I think you said on a conference call yesterday, made it abundantly clear that their plan was going to change completely in terms of the reinsurers. So really, they had nothing to offer us with the 37% rate increase. And in addition to them not having the other carriers. So that kind of knocked them out of the box altogether. Would that be a fair statement?
That's correct. And they have, based on the meeting I had with them yesterday and some feedback I have received from the HR department, they did send out letters on Friday last week to employees advising the employees that at September the 30th would be the last day they would be providing insurance to the plan, which if you guys adopt this recommendation today, it's not going to affect the employees in a negative way, but that is correct. That option, even at that 37%, is not there for us to take even as of today.
Madam Chair.
Madam
Yes,
Chair.
ma'am. Councilor Crusoe.
Good morning, Mr. Petway. Thank you so much for your presentation. I have a few questions that I would like to ask concerning the insurance.
Yes, ma'am.
Even if we were to go back with Blue Cross Blue Shield with the discounted rate that you've been given, you said it offers the identical coverage that the employees were getting on the Viva Care. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. If you recall last year when we went from Blue Cross to the Viva plan, we
Yes.
matched the benefits identical to what they were under the Blue Cross plan. And what I'm saying, by going back to the Blue Cross plan, we would keep those same benefits in place. The employees would not notice any difference at all in benefits. Their co-pays would remain $30 if they go to any doctor, primary or specialist. If they go to the hospital, they would just pay $250 for that. If they go and get a prescription, it would just be whatever tier they get, whether it's a generic 15 or lower than that, 40 or $60 for a specialty drug.
Yes, sir. Okay, I asked that question just to make sure that it was factual before I proceed to the next one. Even with the Viva plan, and if we were to get these identical coverage with Blue Cross Blue Shield, is it possible for any tweaks to be done to that coverage? Because we too were receiving complaints with that coverage. We have employees who have come and said that the deductible was too high. We have employees who some of them who are ill themselves, along with family members or children who have kind of critical conditions, whereby they're in and out of or frequent the hospitals or doctor's appointments and specialists more so than some of the others, and it's been kind of detrimental to their their income or to their homes on not being able to afford medical care, even with with having insurance.
Well, the answer to your question, Counselor, is yes. However, I would like to challenge anyone saying that the care regarding the care. The reason why I would challenge that is I don't know any company in Jefferson County that have benefits as good as what you have.
Mm-hmm.
The most your employee would pay if they go to the hospital is $250.
Okay.
I mean, other than paying $250, you're essentially going to give it to them free. When we're talking $250 maximum that they're paying out of their pocket, I would, and I am here, and the HR department can get in touch with me anytime anyone reach out to me. I respond readily, just in case they're not using the insurance appropriately. It just so happened, I was at a CPAP store probably 3 weeks ago, and I ran into one of your employees at the CPAP store. And I was talking to him, asking how things were going, and his wife shared with me that things were going well. They were paying for this CPAP machine, and once they told me what they were doing, I told them, I said, "You're not doing it the right way." I said, "You have to present, now you have 2 cards. The way the plan is set up, we have a $5,000 deductible on the major medical, but we have that supplemental insurance that covers everything out of that deductible minus $250. And once I told them they weren't properly using it, and then I went back into the store with them and I talked to the owner of the store and told them that this needed to be refiled. And if they can't do it, if they would get me the information and I would do it for them. So that person was getting back 700, I think it was $779 or something like that for their CPAP machine. So the way the plan is set up, the most they would pay out of pocket is $250. And I can tell you, there's not another employer in Jefferson County that can say if their employee go to the hospital, the most they would pay out of pocket is $250.
Okay.
You're not going to get much better than that unless you give it to them for free.
Yes, no problem. I thank you for I'm breaking that down in the way that you have. So when we do get stopped or receive phone calls concerning it, then I feel a little more informed, because I don't have the same insurance that they have, and I have to just and having you before me, having an opportunity to get it directly from you. So like I said, you'll better equip me with a response when I see them again. But we thank you for everything that you're doing, Mr. Petway, and please continue to you have the city of Bessemer's best interest at heart as far as with our employees' insurance. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
ma'am. I appreciate that. And I would like to give you one other example of, okay, the prescription drugs. We have one prescription, Stelara, that this year, as of May, the city claims experience on this particular drug was over $220,000. That member, and I can't tell you who it was because that's privy information. We are not privy to ourselves, but the member only they paid was their copay. So for that particular, whatever prescription, the worst they would pay out of pocket would be $50, well, $60. And you have some prescriptions where the claims were $70-some thousand, over $70,000, and that's all they're paying is $60. So I would be happy to sit down with if the employees, they are sent notices when I'm here. So if they would come to the meeting, I would be glad to assist them, make sure they understand and use the plan the most effective way.
Yes, sir, and thank you so much, John, for all that you do.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am, Councilor Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. Petway, for coming for your presentation. And I'm glad you said something about free, because I was going to ask. I did get a couple of calls over the weekend because they did start to receive their letters. Now, I spoke with one employee that had been with the city for a while. I don't know if you was the insurance carrier at that time, but I think they told me if it was just a single person and not a family, that the city, they didn't have to pay insurance, that the city footed that bill for the insurance for single employees. Do you know anything about that?
No, ma'am. I can tell you, I do know that the city, based on the information I have, the single employee pays a certain amount per pay period, and the family pays a certain amount per pay period. And I think it has always been that way. Based on my information, a single employee per pay period for the insurance would pay $73.48, and a family would pay $180.10 per pay period for their share.
I have that information before me. So no, okay, so that's what I was told that years ago. I guess this was before your time, that if there was a single plan that the city footed that bill. Now, if you had a family plan, you had to pay, the deductibles, and you had to pay your premium per every payroll. Also, I see that.
Madam President, Madam
Yes, sir.
President,
Yes, sir. Mayor Gully.
first of all, good morning to you and
Good
Ms.
morning.
Petway and all who are listening. I'd just like to make a comment on the comment that Councilor Alexander just made. Yes, she is 100% correct. Back in the mid-90s, I started working with the city in 1995. When we started working in 1995, if you had a single plan, the city and stuff did foot the cost for single and sub employees at that particular time. Obviously, as insurance has continually went up, I think that plan probably didn't go much further than 1995. Probably about around 1997 or 98 is when the single started having and stuff to pay and stuff into insurance and stuff as well. But that is correct. And so about around 1995, the mid 90s, if you were single, you did not and stuff pay. It was free. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
I wasn't through.
One moment,
Oh,
Councilor
okay,
Alexander.
I'm sorry.
Councilor Alexander.
Okay, so also I was looking at the Viva Health Plan. I know from last year it was the for a single it was $146.90 a pay period, and for the Blue Cross Blue Shield it's $174. Well, I don't know if you know that some of our employees make $10 an hour. So if they're making $10 an hour and you're paying, let's say, $418 a month for a family, you're only seeing $1,181.24 a month. Plus you have to pay your house bills and rent or mortgage, and then you say a deductible of $200 if they go to the hospital.
Yes, ma'am. $250 would be paid for the hospital.
So just say if they go to the hospital that month, they have to go to the hospital. Out of that $1,181, and they have to pay $250, then they're left with $931 for the month for them and their family to fend off of. And it really concerns me. Also, will we be having Blue Cross Blue Shield again? Are we going to be looking again next year to change insurance carriers? Because this is something that I don't want to have to deal with year by year, that we're changing coverage year by year because some doctors don't take certain coverages.
I
Madam President,
understand
Madam
what you
President,
say with the change in the year. The
Mr.
one
Petway,
thing you can't determine is
Madam-
how the claim's going to come out.
Madam President,
yes, sir. One moment,
I
Mr.
could
Petway.
probably assist in some Bruce and that and stuff a little bit because
One moment, Mayor Gurley, just one moment, Mr. Petway. Let us allow the mayor to expound on that question, please. Mayor
Yes,
Gurley,
ma'am.
go ahead.
Madam President, obviously, when we sit down trying and stuff to create the best scenario for the employees, none of us want to go and stuff to back and forward and stuff from one insurer and stuff to the next. Obviously, we just been with Viva and stuff for 1 year. None of us thought that we would be sitting here and stuff at this particular time, talking about going back to Blue Cross after just 1 year. But it's no way that I can answer that question, or Bruce or anyone else, because that's going and such to depend solely on the claims, solely and so on where we are relevant and stuff to paying premiums, so forth and so on. And so yes, we might be here next year, the year after that, the year after this, after that, trying to find the best scenario for the employees, we were confronted with a 37% increase. Well, we knew that we had to do something. We couldn't stay in sub with Viva to do that. So yeah, that might be a reality of the insurance and sub scenario that we're in America right now, not just in Bessemer and stuff in the state of Alabama. We might have to go from carrier to carrier to get the best outcome for the employees.
Madam Chair.
I still went through.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay,
So
Counselor.
I mean, I wasn't through. They was asking questions and the mayor jumped in. So the best scenario for that is we need to look into pay raises for the employees then. If we're going to continue year after year, and I understand that the insurance industry do go up and down and it is about claims, but our employees' pays are staying the same. They're not getting that across the board merit raises like they should. That's what concerns me. That's all. I want them to have the best benefits, but I mean, I don't want them to have to pay their whole check and have to fend for the rest of the month with nothing, just to be insured.
Are you finished, Counselor?
I'm done.
Okay. Counselor Marshall.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think the mayor can maybe back me up on this, that there have been a couple of years recently that we have really absorbed the rate increases for the employees. So I think, we tried to do the best that we could to minimize the impact on the employees. But at the same time, we want to make sure that they have really, really good plans. I was watching a news story the other morning, and it kind of goes to what Councilor Alexander is talking about, is that insurance continues to go up from year after year as the cost of many things keep going up. And there's some things that need to be looked at to try to help the employee to keep pace with that. But sometimes it's not always possible. But insurance is just getting to be a convoluted situation. The rates keep going up on everybody universally. It's just an expensive proposition. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other counselor?
Madam Chair, this is my last time speaking.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
If I can.
Go ahead.
What I just want to respond. I just want to say, piggyback on what Council Marshall just said. He said that in years they have kind of tried to absorb the cost for the employees, so it won't be so much. I know we have this rescue fund, and have we looked into seeing what we can use out of? Can we use any money out of that, Mr. Petway, to kind of absorb some of the costs, to take away some of the costs from the employees with this rescue funding?
Well,
Counselor,
I think
one moment, Mr. Petway. Counselor Alexander, that is not a question that Mr. Petway would be able to answer for the city of Bessemer.
No, I'm not asking him to ask it for the city of Bessemer. I'm asking him to ask, like, through insurance, like, is it something that's out there?
Okay, something that's out there. You mean federally that will
Right.
help our employees?
Right.
Is there insurance?
I think, Councilor, the best I can say on that is, I think that the mayor and the city's attorneys need to vet out all of the options as it relates to the options of the federal funding and the usage it can be used for. I don't feel comfortable saying yes. I don't want to lead you when I'm not as knowledgeable on everything it can be used for at this point in time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Alexander. Any other counselor that wants to speak on this, on the insurance? Well, I will. I wasn't happy with the 37%. increase, and I knew that we could not pass that on to our employees because of the rate of pay. And I have spoken on the rate of pay when I first got in and was able to look at the rate of pay. And I knew that we could not. Now I know that COVID's here, and COVID is taking, we have a lot of claims due to COVID, but I didn't feel comfortable in passing on that 37% increase to these employees. So in turn, I called Mr. Petway, and he did explain it to me on Saturday morning, I guess about 7 o'clock. I just couldn't rest passing on 37% for coverage, that he told me that we had an option. And the option was Blue Cross and Blue Shield. And the option was cheaper than $1 million. Is that correct, Mr. Petway?
Yes, ma'am.
$1 million cheaper, and the coverage stayed the same. Now, let me ask this question. That second card that they have, will they continue to keep that card?
Yes, ma'am. You will still have 2 cards, and the way the plan will operate would be the same. There would be no changes.
No changes for the employees other than the insurance will not go up.
There would be a increase in the plan, even going to the Blue Cross, but it would be significantly lower than that 37% over $1 million difference for same coverage.
What's that increase, Mr. Petway?
If you look on the health benefit proposal, so currently right now, you're paying total for total benefits, and this is the medical and supplemental, $6,583,564.56. And this is based off of a total of about 654 employees, including early retirees. Now, with that increase of 37%, it was going to increase that premium about $2 million. So with the Blue Cross option that would come in, you're looking at less than $1 billion. So it would be a total of $7,531,104.12. And that's based on the same census of 654 employees, including early retirees.
Mayor Gully. Mayor Gully.
Yes, Madam President.
Now, will there be an increase to the employee from what they're paying now, opposed to what they paid last year?
Madam President, I think Mr. Petway just explained that the premium will go up. I want to say $13 and stuff for a single per pay period, and $29 and stuff for family per pay period.
That's what I was looking for. Those are the numbers right there. He explained numbers, but those are the numbers right there, Mayor Gully, that I was looking for. 13 and 29. Thank you, sir. Any other counselor? Thank you, Mr. Petway. As I explained to you this morning, if you want to stay, we will be going into a special session at 10 o'clock. If you want to stay, you're more than welcome to stay.
Thank you, Madam.
You're welcome. Item number 5, Ms. Taylor.
Status on Facebook Live.
Mayor Gully, the status on Facebook Live, please.
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
at this particular time, I think we left the last meeting with plans to take a look at going forward with an RFP. I need some clarity as to from you all as to what you want to include in that RFP. If you recall, we had an extensive conversation concerning whether Mr. Singleton could prepare the RFP. He and I have discussed it. He feels that he can prepare an RFP for that Facebook Live. But you had mentioned something concerning an app. So I don't know how that will factor into him preparing an RFP. But I think we just need a little clarity as we move forward. I think he stressed to me that he can prepare an RFP, given and some of the directives and stuff of what he needs and stuff include in there. It needs to be one. This is what we want to, so forth and so on.
Yes, sir. I think I did send you and Mr. Singleton a copy of what we are looking for. And on that, Ms. Taylor, will you announce Councilor Matthews, please?
Yes, ma'am. Councilor Matthews arrived at the planning session at 9:32 a.m.
Good morning, Councilor. I think I did send you some paperwork. If you would look at that paperwork, you and Mr. Singleton, and if you allow Mr. Singleton to get back with the council with this paperwork as to what we're looking for, I think that'll take us on into the next stage of what we need. Mayor Gully.
Madam President, Mr. Singleton and I looked at the information and stuff that you forwarded and stuff to us. Mr. Singleton, I don't know if you might want to speak to that information and whether and so that was beneficial to you in assisting you in preparing the RFP. But we did get the information that you forwarded on, and we discussed that.
Yes, sir. Mr. Singleton, will this be beneficial to you in preparing an RFP?
Good morning, Madam President.
Good morning.
Council, Mayor Gully, good morning to everyone who's in attendance. Madam President, I did review, I did speak with the young gentleman, and
Yes, sir.
we did go over the RFP. I was correction over the proposal that you did forward over.
Yes, sir.
I didn't see anything new from what we had previously discussed. The only thing that jumped out, the only thing that's specific in this RFP is the individual wants to develop an application to bridge our streaming to the public. However, this mobile application is currently in use, which is the Facebook Live, which is the Facebook app mobile application, YouTube app mobile application, and or the Twitter mobile application. I didn't see any value in proposing or taking to the mayor a third-party app to do something that we currently have available to us at no cost directly from the vendors. Because if we're going to stream directly to or live to Facebook or any other social media platform, they have the app available that anyone can download at no cost and view our meetings live, after the fact, make comments. So based on the conversation I had with the individual and looking at the proposal, I didn't see any value or anything different than what I understood that the council wanted, which was to stream to Facebook Live and of course use the applications that are provided by the vendors.
Okay, so on this proposal is what we've been asking for all the time, and you saw nothing different than what we've been asking for all the time. And whatever it is that we've been asking for all the time, you can use to prepare that RFP. Is that correct?
Well, based on what was asked of me in the live meeting, is to go out and bring back a recommendation and speaking with those vendors. Yes, ma'am, I can provide the streaming to Facebook Live, and the applications are already in place once we actually start the streaming. So once again, this proposal, and I'm actually referring to this proposal because this is the new document added to the discussion, and based on this document, I didn't see any value providing a third-party streamer when there are actually mobile applications that do this very thing. So,
Well,
but yes,
you.
to answer your question, I believe we can write the specifications or write the RFP
Yes, sir.
for the council review.
Yes, sir. I had confidence and I knew that you could last meeting. The value I see in this proposal is a $10,000 saving. That's the value I see in this proposal, Mr. Singleton. But yes, sir, now that you know what we want, you can prepare that RFP and bring back to the council for discussion. If we need to have a special call meeting, that is fine. We can get together and we can have a special call meeting and discuss what we need to discuss. Thank you so much, Mr. Singleton. Councilors, do you have any questions and or concerns?
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
how many discussions and RFPs are we gonna put out doing this? I mean, doing this tenure? Because I mean, are we gonna ever go Facebook Live?
Miss Councilor Alexander, I'm trying to get us there. And I know that we all are trying to get there, but there's nothing like an understanding that Mr. Singleton just gave me just a minute ago. He's qualified, he's capable, and he's able. And what we were looking for, I sent it to him and he already had it. The only difference between what was sent to him was a $10,000 difference in what they had, but he has hopefully, prayerfully, Councilor Alexander, we would only have to put out one RFP and we will get answers to that RFP.
Now, how long would this RFP run for? Because I mean, what's the timeline?
Ms. Taylor,
Yes, ma'am.
can you give us that timeline for that RFP, please?
Madam Chair, it depends on when the RFP is completed.
So when it's completed, how many weeks or days does it take for us to get these RFPs in, the quotes in, the proposals in, and bring it back to the council to be voted on?
Typically, when the RFP is completed and sent to me, it can take from 2 to 3 weeks to get it back to me. And then once it's back to me, then we can add it to the agenda for the council to consider.
So next year.
No, ma'am, I don't think 2 or 3 weeks, Councilor Alexander, would be next year.
Yes, ma'am.
Prayerfully, we'll have that RFP in our hands by the first meeting of October. And
Madam President, I don't know if we can produce it and stuff that and get that back to you and stuff in 2 weeks. I mean, I'll have to discuss and stuff. Look, I want to make this a reality just as bad and stuff as anyone else. But and stuff is a certain procedure that we have to go through. I have to sit down and stuff and see, and we have to review. But I don't know if we can do that. I mean, Mr. Singleton and I can do that in 2 weeks. I'm not going to commit to that.
Mayor Gully, will you tell me how long will it take you and Mr. Singleton to go through and get that back to the council?
Madam President,
Yes,
as I just stated, I'll get with Mr. Singleton and we'll in 2 weeks get together and stuff and see exactly what and so we need to do to turn this around. It would be as expeditiously as possible, but I can't promise a particular date or time at this particular point. When he and I sits down and stuff and see and so what and so we have to include in here and I get an opportunity to speak with him, then I can give you a little bit better timeline at that particular point. But as I just stated, I'm sick and tired of this Facebook Live and stuff too. I want to turn it around just as quick as possible.
thank you, Mayor Gully.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir, Councilor Matthews.
It'll reality probably be about 3 to 6 weeks, depending on the information that'll be provided. I would give it that range. But 2 to 3 weeks is kind of that'll be like zipping it. zipping it.
Thank you, Councilor Matthews. Um,
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir, Councilor Marshall.
I agree with Councilor Matthews, a little bit more time, but I hope we have nailed down what our expectations are. Because if we keep having other things interjected in it, for example, this new app, you know, those are the kind of things that can throw us off track and slow us down. So we've got to decide what it is we want, and we've got to stick to that and give Mr. Singleton the ample time to go on and put together the RFP. That's the only way we're going to get to the end point on this thing. But if we keep interjecting stuff here and there, we'll never get there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. I think that we've nailed it down. I think that Mr. Singleton knows what we want and have what we need for the Facebook Live for the RFP. Mayor Gully, if you would commit to me to making this a priority to talk to Mr. Singleton so that you can get back some information to us, hopefully within 2 weeks. Maybe not a concrete date, but some information within 2 weeks.
Madam Chair, I just got one more question. I'm sorry.
One moment, Councilor Alexander. Mayor Gully.
Madam Chair, as I forestated, I will work just expeditiously as I can.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Alexander.
What is that dollar amount that we won't have to put out an RFP? What is the dollar amount that the mayor can come to us and say, hey, I got this company and, you know, everything is good with this company. I've talked to them. This is this, and this is the amount. Is it under $20,000?
Madam President, the bid amount without a RFP will be under 15,000.
Thank you, Mayor Gully.
Thank you so much, councilors. We look forward to the mayor coming back to us with some information on the RFP after he's spoken, hopefully, with Mr. Singleton within 2 weeks. Item number 6, Ms. Taylor.
Status on bonus longevity for employees.
Councilors, as you know, we have received the federal funding. We did receive half of the 14 million. We will receive the other half on next year. But let me state this for anyone who's listening, and there will only be one longevity or bonus or whatever, however you want to put it. It won't be a bonus out of this 7,000 and a bonus out of the next 7,000. As much as I would love to do that for you all.
Million.
I'm sorry.
Million.
7 million, I'm sorry, 7 million and another bonus or longevity pay out of the next 7 million. As much as I would love to do that, unfortunately, it's one longevity and or bonus out of the 14 million. Councilors, your recommendations.
Madam Chair, question. Did we ever hear from attorney concerning bonus / longevity and what other cities has classified the purpose as?
Attorney Payton didn't on last week. He would, I'm hoping that he would speak on this week, but I made some calls and I'll let you all know after we hear from Attorney Payton. Attorney Payton.
Yes, ma'am. Jefferson County is not making any payment out of their fund. I checked with them. The city of Birmingham granted a one-time premium payment of $5,000 to full-time employees and a $2,500 payment to part-time employees. So that's what the city of Birmingham did. We are governed by Act number 248, which is the act that instituted the Personnel Board of Jefferson County. Specifically within that act, section 12 governs pay plans for municipalities. So in my reading of that, you may grant by a same percentage increase or decrease or flat sum of increase or decrease or any combination thereof. However, in reading that act, you will have to have approval of the Jefferson County Personnel Board, since this payment would be made within 12 months of the next election of the city of Bessemer, which would be held on the fourth Tuesday in August of 2022. So once you decide what you are going to do, you pass your resolution, we would need to send that to Jefferson County Personnel Board for their approval.
Question.
Yes, sir.
So, and I heard you say we are governed by Act 248, and we're the only city that governed by 248?
No, sir. I think there are 19 jurisdictions that are covered by.
I guess what I'm asking you is Birmingham covered by 248?
Yes, and they did submit their plan to the Jefferson County Personnel Board for approval also.
Okay, so we can do a premium as well.
That's what they called it. I just think we have to, I'm checking with the Personnel Board right now and ask them the exact question for them to get back with me, and I should have an answer today on that.
Well, what I guess what I'm saying is, if Birmingham is governed by 248 and they call it premium, and they sent their resolution to the Personnel Board, we call ours premium, and we do the same. I'm just saying, what's the difference?
I don't think there's any difference. I know that they are a little different than the city of Bessemer on some issues within that act. It's a fairly long act, but I would think you're correct. I just don't want to say as a matter of certainty that is the fact, but I would think you could call it a premium pay. It would have to be a flat sum, like the longevity pay that you did before.
Yeah, I understand that
Yeah.
part of it, but I was just talking about when you mentioned 248. So, and I guess I can say this because it's, rumors are rumors, because it's been going around in the city that some council members don't, some do, and we are just not discussing this. So that's it's one of those rumor lies that's going around saying what council members do and what council members don't, and that have not been the case that any council member has said that they did not want to participate in what we're speaking of. So I just wanted to say that for the record. So councilors, what are
Councilor Matthews, let me handle that, please.
Let you handle what?
Let me go ahead with them. Are you finished? Are you finished?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, because I was just looking at the time right here. Is there any other counselor, any other suggestions?
Madam Chair, are we discussing today like the set amount? And Attorney Payton, how soon, if we do set of amount, or how soon will the staff, the employees, be able to get the funds once we find out? Because this has been coming to the table every week. Every week it has been coming to the table, and I have been bombarded with calls. I know other counselors have been bombarded with calls as well. I mean, let's just try to go ahead and get the employees paid. Let's agree upon the set amount and then go from there. Can we do that? Can we discuss it?
Councilor Alexander, I was going to say, let us go ahead and discuss a set amount across the board, and or we can discuss a set amount with 5 and above, 5 below. That way, when Attorney Payton does give us the call today and or in the morning, we will have already discussed an across the board amount and or a split amount above and below the premiums. So we won't have to come back to the table to discuss the amount. Is that all right with you all, counselors? The only thing we'll have to come back to the table with is to vote on
Resolution.
what amount, right, the resolution, and what amount we're going to put there. But if we discuss today, just say 3,000 across the board, and or 3,000 for those who have been here 5 years or more, and 25,000 for those who have been here 5 years and less. Either way, when Attorney Payton gets his message to get to us, we have already discussed it. Counselor.
You said 25,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew I got money on my mind. 2,500, I apologize. Hypothetically now, 3,000 for those 5 years and above, 2,500 for those 5 years below. That's just a hypothetical number. So when Attorney Payton comes back and give us whether or not we can do across the board or split, we'll already have it, and he can go ahead and prepare the resolution. We can go ahead, get it voted on next week, and get it off to Jefferson County. Can we do that today, counselors? Counselors.
I'm in agreement to that. We don't have any full-time, we don't have any part-time employees, do we?
That was my question. Yeah.
Mayor Gully. Mayor Gully. Mayor Gully.
Madam President, I stepped away to the restroom. What was the question, please?
I'm sorry. Do we have any part-time employees?
Madam President, to my knowledge, no, ma'am. Very few is part-time. I don't think I have any part-time. And I say that because I would definitely have to check in a couple of departments, but for all intents and purposes, we've not carried part-time employees.
So what we would say, counselors, is again, hypothetically, because I'm only one vote. I'm just throwing these numbers out. 3,000, 5 years and above, 2,500, 5 years and below. Can we discuss that, council?
I'm all for it today.
I'm fine with it.
So, Attorney Payton, after you have gotten your answer on today, you'll get it to this body. It is the consensus of this body, 3,000 for those 5 years and above, 2,500 for those 5 years and below, whether it is part-time and or not. Is that what I'm hearing from this body?
Madam President.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Go ahead. I yield to Councilor Matthews.
Okay, Councilor Matthews.
Madam Chair, I would. Did you say 3,000 and 3,000 and 2,500?
Yes, sir. That's what I said. Those were just hypothetical numbers, but since some of the councilors that spoke out said they were fine with that, that's what I went with, Councilor Matthews.
Okay. Well, I would I would tend to say I'm good with the 2,500 with Five Below, but I would like to bump the 5 years and above up at a minimum of 35.
Okay,
I
35.
agree with that. I agree
Madam
with
Chair,
that.
Okay, one moment, please. One moment. Counselor Matthew said instead of 3,000 with 5 and above, we do 3,500 and 2,500. Is that what you're saying, Counselor Matthew?
Yes, yeah, I would say so, because you have, and the reason why you say 5 years and below, then someone with 15 or 20 years, that's a big disparity to me.
Okay, counselors?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I also heard on part-time employees that they would receive the same as those employees 5 years or less. I don't think for a part-time employee that's quite equitable. So I think that number needs to be lower for a
Okay,
part-time employee.
what's your suggestion, Counselor Marshall?
1,000, 1,500.
1,500 sounds good to me. Okay, let me read these numbers back to you all. 5 and above, 3,500. 5 and below, excluding the part-time, 2,500. Part-time, if we have any, 1,500. Is that the consensus of this body?
Yes.
Madam President,
I'm
I
okay with
yield,
that.
Madam
Yes,
President, I yield to Councilor Matthews, but I didn't know you weren't gonna come back to me.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry,
Mayor.
Mayor Gully. Go ahead, Mayor Gully.
Madam President, I do think that looking at the turnover that we get and stuff from individuals and stuff that works no longer than a week, 2 weeks, and stuff, or a month or a day. When it comes to probationary employees, when it comes to individuals and stuff that has just gotten hired, I do have some reservations, because I'm having tremendous turnover of individuals that is hired on, that gets that works less than 30 days. And are you making concessions for individuals such as that?
No,
I
sir,
just don't know.
no, sir, we're not making any concessions for that. If they're
Well,
not with the
when you
city,
say 5, well, no. I'm not saying something that when you pass this resolution, they could have been with the city anywhere from 1 day to 2 weeks to less than 30 days. I do think that individuals should have had to contribute something to this city to be entitled and stuff to a $2,500 in sub bonus. So I do have a few reservations, because I get so many turnovers of individuals that work less than 30 days, less than 45 days, and you're paying them $2,500 and stuff, and they haven't been here but less than 60 days or less than 30 days.
Yeah.
well, I understand.
And they just walk off.
I understand that, okay. Counselor Matthews, and then Counselor Crusoe, and I'll come back.
Yeah, and I see what the mayor's speaking of. That does make sense. So, Mayor, would you say 6 months or a year of service? Which one would you, or how many months to a year? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, Madam President, Councilor Matthews, I'm not advocating, nothing, but I don't think that they should, a 5-year employee should get the same amount of money as a 5-day employee. So I just think even if you said, hey, if I'm from day one, if you gave them $500, if you if you work less than my turnover in certain departments is less than 30 days. What is that person entitled to? If you're gonna go 30 days, 60 days, or just like part-time and stuff employees, I heard Councilor Marshall and stuff mentioned. I just think there's some limitations or parameters need to be put in place.
Madam Chair.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I was asking you what do you propose from because your turnover. So what would you suggest from a month or months or year, 1 year service, or starting at 6 months service? I don't know, but because I don't know how your turnover is, but I know there's a turnover.
Council Matthews, I would say probationary employees, $500. That would be my suggestion.
And what's your
Okay.
probation, Mayor Gurley? What's the probation? Okay, 1 year. Okay, so you would say up to 1 year, $500. Is that what you're saying, Mayor Gurley? From day one up to 1 year.
From day one up, it's probationary employees is one day up to 1 year.
Okay, that's $500. Part-time employees, if we have any, $1,500. Employees 1 year to 5 years, $2,500. Employees 5 years and above, $3,500. Is that the consensus of this body?
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
I really think we're kind of rushing this. I think we need to think about this just a tad bit more, because when you start looking at employees who spent 15, 20 years of service, I think they probably ought to be due a little bit more.
Yeah,
I'm all for giving and doing this, but I think we're moving a little fast on this. I want to get it done as quickly as possible, but all the things that we talk about, probationary, part-time, and all of that, we need to look at that a little bit closer. I just think, I don't feel like we're in a position to really make a decision on that right now. There needs to be a little bit more discussion, and I think we would do better service to our employees by really thinking through this a little bit more to make sure that things are as equitable as possible, because I don't think a 3-year employee ought to be in the same ballpark as a 15 or 20-year employee. Right. So there may be some gradation in terms of how we do it, but I think we're kind of rushing to it right now. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Councilor Crusoe, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I think we need to move forward with the I guess the format that you just explained, because if we keep breaking it down as to whose time is more comparable or equitable compared to another probation, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, we're gonna forever be playing with numbers. Let's put something out, vote on it. And I too agree with Councilor Marshall as far as in with the ones over 20 years to possibly do like a $5,000 rate for those, with 20 years or above. But to keep going back and forth from planning session to council meeting, voting on this longevity bonus / what's the terminology, what's the legalities. We kicked this can long enough. With the numbers that you just mentioned, with your addition as to what Mayor Gully said concerning the probationary period, 5,000 for those 20 and above, and be prepared to go forth with a vote. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Councilor Collier.
Yes, ma'am. I'm all for raising the prices for the longevity for the employees that got 20 years or more. I just want to get some clarification about the part-time employees. When we said the other employees had it where it fell up under, the start of 30 days to a year, those part-time employees will fall up under that also, right? And will that increase those? Okay.
If they're part-time, they'll fall up under whatever number it is. But as Mayor Gully stated, he don't think that if we have any, it's not very many.
Okay.
Okay, let me read this back off to councilors.
Madam Chair, may I say one other thing?
Yes, sir.
May.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I really think that perhaps we need to have a committee to sit down and really put something on paper and really think through what we're talking about. I just think that we're not really taking the adequate time. I know everybody's anxious to get it out there, but let's get it out there in a fair and equitable way, and have had time to really think through, how we do it, how we treat a 20-year, how we treat a probationary, how we treat somebody who's part-time. And I just don't feel comfortable that that we may end up rewarding to a degree somebody less than what they really deserve in terms of longevity or time of service. That's my concern, is that we're moving a little fast on this, but we need to get it done, and we need to set a timeline for having a firm recommendation that we can look at and really discuss, because just keep throwing out numbers. I mean, I need to see more evidence in terms of how many employees fall into different categories. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Councilor Alexander, yes, ma'am.
How many committees we got to form during this term? And I would ask that Council Marshall make his phone number available, because if he get the calls that I get, or the inboxes or the emails that I get from employees, he'll be ready to pay the employees out too. And these employees have worked through the pandemic. They have worked through the pandemic. They deserve this. And I understand what he's saying about a 20-year employee. But Councilor Crusoe just said 5,000. It's not a rush. Let's just get it done.
Madam Chair.
Thank you,
Madam
Councilor.
Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Alexander and Councilor
Madam Chair.
Marshall. Let me get this
Madam
out.
Chair.
And Councilor Marshall, you spoke several times. I've allowed you.
Madam Chair, I need to address
Let me go ahead.
address point of privilege. I need to address Councilor Alexander.
No, you don't need to address.
My telephone number is available, and any employee who sees
no
me
one open the floor
and
for
employees
you,
and employees who want to speak with me know how to reach me.
Yes, Councilor Crusoe. Yes, Councilor Crusoe. And you're absolutely right. The floor was not open. Let me read these back to you all, councilors. And I would say this.
Can I make a statement?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead and make your statement.
Okay, and I'll be out of your way concerning this. Just out of the statement that was made as far as in some of the employees being rewarded more so than what they deserve, or than what they, whatever term that was used. I think that they're all deserving of whatever it is that the citizens, the employees here in the city of Bessemer receive. They're already at the bottom of the totem pole as far as on the rate of pay. comparing to any other municipality. The turnaround, as Mayor Gully just mentioned, is astronomical. I mean, we're losing employees at an exponential rate every day. So, I mean, going forth as far as then with this, like I said, longevity bonus pay, maybe this will assist with some of the retention, employee retention here in the city of Bessemer. Again, I feel like we've kicked this can long enough.
Thank you, Councilor. Thank you, Councilor Crusoe. Let us let me read these back to you all, and let us. All right, 20-year and above, 5,000. 5 years to 20 years, 3,500. 1 to 5 years, 2,500. Part-time, if there are any, 1,500. Up to 1 year probationary period, 500. We have covered all that we need to cover on this. Attorney Payton has what he needs. We're just waiting on Attorney Payton to call us with his answer and prepare the resolution. And we'll vote on the resolution on next week. Item number 7, Ms. Taylor.
Item 7, status on Sweet House.
Councilors, I think Councilor Crusoe placed this on. Councilor Crusoe, did you place this on?
I did, Madam Chair. Thank you for your time. As far as with the Sweet House, as all of you all know, this is the antebellum type, historical house over here in District 7. I know we've had previous discussions and even had some people to come out to do presentations on wanting to purchase the Sweet House or acquire it for different reasons. I'm coming before the council asking that you all will that we will retain the Sweet House in our possession for the usage here in District 7. We have a plan that we're working on to help with mentoring, a mentorship program here in the city of Bessemer, and that location would be the perfect location for this program. So, and I will come back before the council with some more information concerning the program, but I placed it on the agenda, asking that we will keep it in our possession to be utilized. It can be utilized for all districts who are in need of the services. But I have a vision here in District 7 for the Sweet House. Also, were we Mayor Gully? I know the question was asked. Were you ever able to get somebody out for an appraisal concerning the Sweet House? Or if there's anyone on the line who has any information regarding that?
Madam President.
Yes, sir.
We are still awaiting an appraisal for the house. As I forestated in a previous meeting, that we had gone through about 3 appraisals. One of them were busy. Another one said obviously wasn't very interested in doing it. I guess he had some complications finding some comps in the area. But we are awaiting an appraisal at this particular time, and we'll get it to the council as soon as we get it in our hands. But if the purpose, with all due respect to Councilor Crusoe, if the purpose and stuff for the Sweet House is going and stuff to change, then I think that will bear some discussion. If you recall, the the police department initially ends up wanting the utilization of the Sweet House for domestic violence as a transitional house and so for women in domestic violence situations. So if the purpose is going to change, I think we need to start the discussions of which direction we're going to go in if we're going to take the sale off the table. Thank you.
Any other counselor?
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I think we need to take the discussion off the table about the appraisal. And we need to discuss letting Councilor Crusoe do something with the Sweet Home over in her district if she's gonna have the funding, get the funding for it, and it still is maintained by the city of Bessemer. It's still a piece of property for the city of Bessemer, and she's gonna get the funding to do everything that needs to be done. I'm all for that. And every district can benefit off of it. I'm all for that.
Let me ask a question, counselors. With the police department and the domestic violence and what Councilor Crusoe is proposing, I'm wondering if we can get together there and both of them can come out of that one location.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
To be honest with you, and I mean, thank you, Mary Gully, for reminding me of that. The vision and plan and program that has been formulated for the Sweet House, along with the domestic violence, they can tie in together because it is encompassed in the program. So together. We could sit down and I guess go in, like we said, further discussion concerning this. I just wanted to kind of bring it before the council to halt the sale or getting rid of this property when we can utilize it ourselves to kind of help with public purpose and to help try to save these communities. Thank you, council. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Councilor
Yeah,
Matthews.
I'm gonna be short with this, and both I guess conversations is about helping our people. So I think we should just have another discussion concerning this when Councilor Crusoe brings her I guess proposal slash vision, and we know what entails in domestic violence. So I think we should take a look at that in the very near future.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I too think that would be a wonderful location there because of the way it sits right on the corner. And then we have the fenced area out there. There are 3 floors. There's a beautiful home. I think if the city can retain that, to use it with the police department, along with the city councilor, sit down and we can come to a mutual consensus of domestic violence as well as educating. That would be good for the city of Bessemer. We will revisit that in the near future. Council, if I can take a point of privilege just here for just a moment. Item number 9, Ms. Connors, are you on the line? Ms. Connors.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning, Counselor. Good morning, Ms. Connors. Ms. Connors is the young lady who sent her bid in for the home on 1705 24th Street, which was at one point in time her mother's home. She called me and asked if she could speak with the counselors after she was on the call listening to the council meeting. I guess it was 2 meetings ago. She called and asked if she could speak with the counselor. I told her I had no problems, but it would only be for planning session. She's on the line now, Ms. Connors. Go ahead and you have 3 minutes. Please, your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes.
Good morning. Good morning, Mayor Gully, and to the body of the city of Bessemer. My name is Lysandra Connor, and my address is 5108 5th Street North. I would like to say that I'm very interested in the surplus home at 1705 24th Street North. I have put in an offer and would like to move my mom into that home. Would ask that you all would consider voting that this surplus home be awarded to her by the offer that I have made. I know that the home needs some work. I'm willing to bring it up to code and everything and to place my mom in this home who's have lived in Bessemer all of her life. And so I would just like to return her back to that home. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Connors. Counselors, you've heard Ms. Connors. Item number 9, thank you so much, Ms. Connors. You can go back to work. I am so sorry that I kept you on so long. I didn't know that you were on the line.
No
Item
problem.
number 9, Ms. Taylor.
Yes, ma'am. Item number 9 is the discussion on replacing lock at 1705 24th Street North.
Counselors, there are several of you came to me and asked me, you had already looked at the property on the outside. You all asked if you all could get on the inside to look at the property. In turn, I requested that we would go in the property to look at the property to find that there are no keys to the property. So today we're coming to request that the locks be changed and there are keys to the property, and give 3 dates and times, and the home will be open 4 hours each day for each counselor to go by to look in the property, because I know that there are some of us that work that cannot go by at the same time to look at the property. So counselors, what I put this on so that we can ask the mayor, give the mayor the authority to go ahead and have a locksmith to change those locks. And the city of Bessemer will then have keys to the locks, and get some days that we will be able to go to view the property. Counselors.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I have no problem with getting rekeyed, but I don't think us taking a position to rekey precludes us putting that house on the market so that we can see what the fair market value will be, it will bring. There's a foreclosure, the property was foreclosed on. The city needs to try to recover as much of that foreclosed amount as we can. So this, in my mind, does not preclude us putting the house on the market and see what the market will bear. That's my opinion on that. Thank you.
Thank
Madam
you,
Chair.
Councilor Marshall, but we would still have to enter the property.
Now,
Even,
I said I had no problem with that.
oh, thank
I
you,
don't
I'm
have a problem
sorry.
with that.
I
Yeah.
didn't hear you.
Yeah, I did.
Councilor Alexander.
Not in my lifetime have I ever heard that the council over property, right? That
Yes, ma'am.
we have to schedule a time to go see the property. Why can't we just, if the keys are made, check the keys out from Mr. Ward and return them? Also, we've had people to foreclose way more than $16,000. And we've had people to come back and purchase those properties for less than what it foreclosed on. Why we keep playing around? Let's let this young lady put her mom back in this home. It's been sitting vacant for how many years? Over 10 years. Let's just do right by this young lady and her mom. She wants to upkeep the house, put her mom back in the home house. Let's do what's right. I don't have no connections to her before anybody say anything. I don't know this young lady, but I just want to do what's right.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Alexander. Councilor Crusoe.
I mean, I'm trying to understand, is 1705 24th Street sitting on a gold mine or on some oil or something? I'm just trying to get an understanding here. You know, I mean, we have never jumped through all of these hoops and, you know, I mean, gone through all of these courses to sell a piece of property. I mean, if my memory serves me correctly, I mean, the property that we sold down here on 22nd Street that was supposed to have been cleared off and should be a parking lot at this time, you know, I mean, nothing has been done to it. We sold that property in less than one meeting. So to be going back and forth and you know, with the foreclosures throughout the city of Bessemer, we can't get blood from a turn from this young lady who is just the only thing she's trying to do is recover us up some property to place her mama back in. She and her family were not the ones who defaulted on the loan. Let's go after some of these businesses who we've given loans and grants to if the city of Bessemer is in such a hardship financially. Let's go after some of the ones who defaulted themselves rather than you sitting back and punishing this young lady who is, like I said, trying to recoup a property that they did not default upon. This is just a property that a mom had before the individuals defaulted, and I just think that we're being unfair to her. We've never gone through these type measures to sell a piece of property. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you,
Madam
Councilor
Chair.
Crusoe. Yes, sir, Councilor Marshall.
You know, the reality is what it is. I mean, if anybody had a piece of property, you know, and somebody came and offered me $3,000 for it, and I knew that property was worth more than $3,000, would I just give it to them? No, I don't think so. So I think when in the same position here, what does it hurt to put the house on the market to see what it brings? I mean, I understand about mama, and when mama comes in to the picture, then you know, everything goes out the window. But the city is a business. Now, I can't talk about other foreclosures because I wasn't around on a lot of foreclosures and a lot of resale of property. But this property needs to be appraised, and the city needs to recover what we can recover. I ain't talking about nothing else except this piece of property. And I think that's the only right thing to do. I mean, would we put the sweet house up and somebody come along and say, well, I want to move somebody in there. I'll give you $5,000 for it. Then we ought to give it to them? No, we ought to put it on the market and see what the market will bring.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, one more time. I'm sorry. I'll yield to Councilor Crusoe, but I do want to have a turn to speak.
Madam Chair.
Okay, this will be your second, Councilor Crusoe.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And were you, Councilor Marshall, you were around the table when we just sold this property on 22nd Street, you know, for pennies on the dollar. I mean, and I can't say one time that you asked for the value or that you were so adamant about, you know, questioning whether it was what was the market value, how much it could be appraised for. I mean, all of these different, you know, like I said, you know, obstacles that we're going through right now. And even with the city hall, several other pieces of property, we didn't go through all of this on selling those properties. So I mean, all that you just said, I mean, you kind of you're contradicting yourself right there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilor Alexander.
Madam Chair.
Councilor Alexander. Councilor Alexander.
Madam Chair, since we've been around this table, Councilor Crusoe have been asking for a list of the properties that the city owns. Not one time has this property been on the list. Secondly, Council Crusoe, I just do want to correct you on the statement that you made about the city hall. Yes, those young men had to jump through hoops. I think in the resolution it states, I think they had 1 year. If they didn't do nothing with the property, then the city will buy the property back. We sold Masonry Arts that property for pennies on the dollar, like 50 cents per square foot downtown Bessemer. Even when you sell, but to mention the sweet home, the money that person got off the sweet home will never be able to recoup from anyone. And that was hundreds of thousands of dollars. So let's be real. And can I ask this one thing? Let's not form a committee to decide this, please.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir, Councilor Matthews.
Do we know, when was the last time this house, how long has it been vacant? How long has 1705 24th Street been vacant?
To my knowledge,
Approximately.
let's give it 7, 8 years.
Okay, that's all. Okay. Thank you.
Madam President. Madam President.
Is that Councilor Thigpen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I think we need to handle the matter at hand. I think we need to change the locks and we need to set up time. We can put a lock box on it so that anybody can go by there at their leisure. Just don't give out the code to anybody else. Just that's what we did on the Sweet House. We had a lock box on it. But and until we see the inside, we don't know what it's worth. So I mean, the outside looks good. It looks like a nice property, but we don't know what the inside looks like. So I think trying to come up with a price before we even see it, I think it would be better to just go ahead and change the locks and let's go look at it.
I agree.
Any other counselor?
I'm in agreement with that.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'm also in agreement with that. And you know, all the negative comments trying to throw shade, you know, you can't throw shade, I'm covered, okay? Thank you.
Ooh.
Madam President.
Wow. Was that Mayor Gully? Mayor Gully, was
Yes,
that you? Yes, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, Madam President, that is correct. I've been kicked off, so I'm on the iPhone.
Okay.
But I wanted and stuff to make and stuff a comment. The opponents have requested the keys to the house. The lock has already been changed. We got the locks and stuff changed because nobody had keys or access to the house, so that has already been done. So I just want to let that be known. And so when someone makes the comment about getting the locks changed, the locks have been changed and the keys is in the possession of the city.
Okay, so there's no need for this resolution because the resolution is for the locks to be changed. I do agree with getting a lockbox put on that property and the keys will stay in the lockbox. That way, when any counselor gets an opportunity to go by there, on which I pass it 12, 13 times a day, and I had the opportunity to walk around that property. It's not in condition that I would hope it would be in, but if we don't hurry up and do something with that property, it's already leaking. The right side of the property, the one buys, the fascia is already down and the water is going on the inside of the property. So with this property being empty 7, 8 years, we foreclosed at $16,000. There's no way in the world that we're going to get $16,000. This property has already been written off. As to the 4 or 5 more that I've counted here in the city of Bessemer, Ms. Connors have offered half of what we foreclosed at. And that's to get her mother back in this property.
Madam Chair.
So her mother can be safe. Counselors.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
And we did have another offer. So, you know, I don't
We
want
had,
to.
we had another offer, Counselor Collier. We had another offer, Counselor Collier. Right after the meeting, the first meeting of the month, we had this discussion about 1705. After she heard what she heard, she couldn't believe what she heard, but she in turn contacted Mr. Abraham Ward. If I'm not mistaken, it was the same day and or the day after. She doubled what she had initially bidded on that property. As I stated, we foreclosed on the property at 16,000.
Okay,
At this
I need to
time,
use the
she
restroom.
has.
Okay. I thought I saw it over.
Councilor
Okay.
Matthews, mute yourself. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
At that time, she went ahead and spoke with Mr. Abraham Ward, doubled what she initially bidded on the property because she wants to get her mother back in that property and get her mother safe. Half of 16,000, and that's what we foreclosed on, is more, and I can state this, than I would give you. But she has, and Mr. Ward has it in his hand at this point in time. She has offered half of what we foreclosed on. Now, Mayor Gully has already stated it is hard, as I won't say the word, to get an appraiser to do these properties. We'll be over into next year or the year after waiting on appraisal. I've been waiting myself personally for 8 months on one. So we'll be over into next year. I would say this, Counselor, and after I say this, we're going to move on to the next item. Let your vote, as I always say, be your voice on this property, and let's get through with this item. I don't want this item to be like some items we have on this agenda. I want to leave out of the presidency with a clear slate. So I will place this item on for a vote on next week. We voted either up and or down to accept half of the 16,000, and we move on to the next agenda. Ms. Taylor, item number 8, please.
Madam President, before you move on, are we gonna have access to that property before the vote?
Yes, sir. I would
Okay.
hope, because Mayor Gully said the keys are in the hands of the city of Bessemer. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank
you. You're welcome. Item number 8, Ms. Taylor.
Status on charter school.
I think that was placed on by Councilor Alexander. Councilor Alexander.
Yes, ma'am. That was placed on by me. I just had a couple of questions for Attorney Payton and Mayor Gully, or whoever's involved with the charter school. I know they approved the charter school commission, the state of Alabama charter school commission approved it because we. Hello? Councilor Donna, you got to mute your mic.
They holler for you, Miss They holler for you. They calling you in there. Oh.
I'm sorry, did someone call me?
Yes, your mic was unmuted when I was talking. I could hear you in the background.
Oh, I'm sorry, Counselor Alexander, I'm sorry.
Okay, so with the charter schools, I know that we don't have that. The Board of Education is not a voting authority. So with that being said, do we have the minutes from the charter school commission, the minutes from the meeting? Can I get a copy of those minutes? And was it advertised? Was it advertised locally so the public can be there to voice their concerns and their opinions? And also, will this body review the application that was submitted to get approval from the Charter School Commission? Attorney
Madam
Payne.
Chair, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Councilor Alexander, you and I spoke about this matter, I think it was a week ago, and I told you I didn't have any knowledge about this charter school. I still don't have any knowledge about this charter school. I told you to contact the Bessemer Airport Authority because it was going to be placed on their premises. So that would be the place you would start.
So to get the minutes and to see where it was advertised, well, Council Thigpen, you sit on the board. Do you know if they held this publicly, the meeting? Was it advertised locally?
I don't know that that's a requirement for a charter school.
Yes, it is.
And all we've done is they asked if they could rent property at one time, just to, that's all I have seen on it. We haven't approved anything on the school itself. We didn't have anything to do with that. They just wanted to rent property on the school, on the airport grounds, just like we lease to other people.
Yeah, it was a big old, news blitz about this coming to the city of Bessemer, and a lot of people wasn't aware. That's why I kind of researched it, and it's supposed to be advertised locally to the public to get their concerns, and we should be able to view the minutes and to review the application that was submitted. So, do I need to contact the airport board for these records?
Those would not be our records. You could contact Mr. Wazaluka and ask him the contact information for the charter school. He would have that. And then you can contact them to get their information. Nothing was done through the airport authority for that.
So we just did a big media blitz for nothing.
I was not part of that.
Counselor Alexander.
Madam President.
One moment, Mayor Gully. Counselor Alexander, is it Wazaluka? Is that who it is, Counselor Thigpen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Wazaluka is who she needs to contact to get all of the information she needs and the questions that she needs answered. Is that what we're hearing? Is that what I'm hearing?
He would be able to give her the contact information. He wouldn't have the information, but he would be able to give her the name
the
of the
letter
person
of
to contact.
intent. Even for the letter of intent. Who did that come from? Did that come from the board and or the city of Bessemer, or did it come from Mr. Morris?
The letter of intent came from the airport authority.
Airport authority.
I yield to Mayor Gully.
Okay, Mayor Gully.
Madam President, for charter schools, the charter comes through the state of Alabama. If you want their application or anything relevant to a charter and sub school, submit your request to the state of Alabama. It's up to.
I can't hear you, Mayor Gully. Go back to the spot that you were in. If anyone is close to Mayor Gully, tell him I cannot hear him.
He was stating that I need to submit my questions to the state of Alabama, the Charter School Commission. I will be doing that.
Okay, thank you so much, Counselor Alexander. Attorney Payton, are you still on the line?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do we need to go into our special, go off and come back into our special meeting, adjourn, go off and come into our special meeting, or do you want to speak on what you want to speak on now, or you want to speak on at the end of the special meeting?
I'll do it. That's at your pleasure, Council Don. If you
Okay,
prefer
let
to
us
go
go
on to-
out because we do have Mr. Petway still here and we do need to vote. Let us go out. Let us adjourn this planning session. We'll go out and we'll come back in, counselors, to the special call meeting where we can go ahead. Counselor Alexander, are you okay with speaking with Mr. Wasaluka, Mr. Morris, and the state of Alabama? Is that what you're telling me?
I think that's what Mayor Gully was stating, that I need
Okay,
to submit
before
my
he went off.
request.
Okay.
Is that what
all
you
right.
were saying, Mayor Gully?
That is correct. Madam
Okay,
President, can you hear me?
If you go back. I can't
Hello?
hear him. Okay, now
Hello?
stand right there. Don't move.
Okay, that
Okay.
that is correct. Any charter schools submit to the state of Alabama. And so if a charter school comes to us, they have already done their due diligence to the state to get a charter and so to have a school in a particular area. So if you wanted their information, that information can be requested through the state of Alabama. You know, we wouldn't have any control locally on whether a charter school could come to a particular area.
So you're saying that the citizens can't voice their opinion locally about this charter school coming to the local area?
I would never say that a citizen can't voice their opinion, but it's where they're voicing their opinion and stuff at. If they
Yeah,
have
it
some
was.
issues
I
or some
didn't see.
concerns,
Right. I
then they
didn't see
needed
it.
something.
I didn't see it advertised locally. That's what I'm saying. Was it advertised locally? Because I didn't see it advertised locally. So I will begin with the Charter School Commission of the state of Alabama, submitting all these questions so I can get answers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Counselor Alexander. And I know that you will get back with the body with your findings. Counselors, I need a motion to adjourn, second, and a roll call, and we'll come back into the special call meeting, please.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I move that we adjourn from planning session.
I need a second.
We don't vote in planning session, even to adjourn.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You just adjourn it.
Well, see,
Okay.
that's what I was just asking. Okay, thank you, Counselor
Thank you.
Thick Pen. Let us go out and we'll come back into our special call meeting. Oh, man.